Hey guys, King of Charmants here. So today we are going to look at level 50 XL Bronzor for Ultra Premier. Now this one's been highly requested for a while, and I'm actually really deeply invested in it as well because Bronzong has a very interesting typing, and it also has a very interesting max CP. As you see here, Bronzong is a Steel and Psychic Pokemon, but what makes it so interesting, it actually maxes out at near 2500. Which means you can get a level 50 Bronzong and a level 51 for Ultra Premier. Now, Confusion users are generally powerful in the Ultra Premier Cup. You've seen Gallade, you've seen Alolan Exeggutor, etc. So, what about Bronzong for Ultra Premier at level 50? Now, the reason you don't see it flying around everywhere is because Zong is actually, at level 50, is hard to find. I don't know a lot of people that have the XL candy for it. Is it entirely possible someone has one and they're willing to build it? Absolutely. However, I don't know it yet. Anyways, the reason why Zong is so good is because it has such high defense. It's very tanky. It has a decent, it has a balanced attack and stamina. It's very interesting. And like I said, maxed out in near 2500. So because it does, its stat spread is very high. And its moveset is also very interesting as well. Like I mentioned, Zong is a Confusion user. Sports Confusion has Psyshock as well as Heavy Flam, Splash Cannon, Psychic. It has a very interesting move pool. It even has Bulldoze. So there's a lot of moves it has that it can actually cover a lot of typings. And what makes Zong such a beast isn't just the fact that it's a Confusion user that's pretty tanky, has great stat pool. It also has a ton of resistances. Yes, you have a few weaknesses. Of course, you have Dark, Fire, Ghost, Ground. Umbreon, you hate, Umbreon, Charizard's Fire Spins, those Shadow Balls from Chandelures or from those Drifblims. Also, you're weak to ground, so let's see, Earthquakes from Swamperts are very threatening. What else is also there? I think Earthquake is the premier one that you have to watch out for Ultra Premier. Yeah, Earthquake. Earthquake, I know, yeah, definitely Earthquake. Anyways, past its weaknesses, yes, the weaknesses float around. However, it has a ton of resistances that are very relevant as well. You resist Poison, which isn't actually that common. But remember when I was talking about Confusion users, you actually double resist Confusion users. You double resist Psychic. So you tank Psychic users, you're also able to resist Dragon Breath users. So Shadow Dragonite, level 50 Altarias actually don't do much against you. Level 50 Clefaibles, those are running around now. So level 50 Clefaibles are Clefaibles past level 40. Charmers don't do much against you. Flyers as well, so you do very well against level 50 Skarmories. Ice types and grass types, so Abomasnow. Normal types for Body Slam, like Snorlax, Rock, and Steel. And the best part about this is that Fighting also does neutral damage to you because you are a Steel and Psychic type. So you are a very tanky Mon with very few targets to you. Yes, your targets are somewhat popular, like Umbreon can be popular, Obstagoon, etc. However, these weaknesses, the amount of things you resist can definitely outweigh what the weaknesses are. Especially since Bronzong is so tanky, it can still live through a ton of things before it goes down. Alright, here's the peeppoke.com rankings. And now, as you see here, so this is going to be a little strange. Bronzong actually isn't in the rankings so far. We'll go off of regular Bronzor. However, what I'll do is we'll actually measure it a different way, but we can figure out how Bronzor XL is ranked in the meta. As you see here, Bronzong is ranked at 139. This is the regular Bronzong, by the way. So this is a level 41, not a level 51. you can generally just, we can generally just like go off of this one, and then we'll see what happens after we go into the Matrix and then play that way. But as you see here, Bronzong is very strong in the lead and the closing scenarios. It's able to take out Venusaur, Lapras, Gallade, Togekiss, and Dragonite. That's a lot of relevant matchups. Now, because you're a Psychic type with Confusion, yes, you lose against Gengar, but you could deal a heavy amount of damage in it. An example, and again, this is the level 40 variation, so we don't know what the level 51 does. At least until we figure out later. Your key losses, of course, will be to Swampert, because Swampert will outpace you, Charizard, Snorlax, and Ampharos. Now, this is what makes the Zong really interesting, because it's actually pretty viable in Ultra Premier as a level 40. You do beat a lot of relevant types, however, you also have a lot of things that do kill you. However, let's see if a level 50 versus a level 40 can flip a lot of these negative matchups. Now, like I mentioned before, we're going to look at it a different way, so we're going to do this. So we're going to go into the battle, we'll go into the battle screen, we'll go into multi-battle, we'll do Bronzong at level 50. The optimal stats, we'll assume, yeah, we'll just do level 50. We'll do 51 analysis on the Matrix, we'll maximize it over here. Oh wait, that's not Great League, this is Ultra League. Okay, 1 second. Okay, we'll do this. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, there you go. We'll do that, we'll run it, we'll restart it, and then we'll go against the Premier Cup, and then we'll maximize it at level 50. So we'll do this. As you see, the stat spread is pretty high, 13, 15, 14 for a rank 1 level 50. Now, the thing about Bronzong is that means you can get a good one from research, or you can hatch one. So there's actually a way you can get like good Bronzors. This is what makes Zong really interesting as well. It's more easily accessible as far as IV goes compared to others, because like I said, you can actually hatch and you can raid for one. The stat spread's pretty high, so that allows you to get a really good one from other means. That's always a good thing, because I can tell you, or many of you probably already know, finding a level 50 IV in the wild is really annoying, and it takes a lot of time. So as you see here, here's the level 50. We're going to run level 50 against the Premier Cup in the 1 shield. So we're going to do this. As you see, 65% in the 1 shield, best used as the lead, so we'll look at the 2 shields. So we got 65 in the 1s, and then we have 69%. That's the greatest number of all time in the 2s. So 69, 65 in the 2s. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to level 40. We'll do this, and we'll take a look. So level 40 obviously is a perfect one. You can go to level 51. You can go to level 51. Best buddy. We'll look at all of it during the Matrix. Now, as you see in the 2 shield, it goes to 53. So you jump up a whole 12% of matchups in the 2 shield. Actually, I think that's 14, right? Yeah, 14 because it's 69. In the 1 shield, it goes down to 53. So the level 50, just based off of this, of what your wins you capture, is very relevant. So we're going to find out during the Matrix just how good this Bronzong at level 50 is at extra large portions. Alright, so here we go. Here's the Matrix. This is my favorite portion because we get to look at everything. Again, if you'd like to donate to ppoke.com, please consider doing so. I have level 51 Bronzong here. So, I mean 50. So here's the 50 at top. And we also have 51. Here's level 51. And we also have the level 40. This way we can look and see just how, like, level 51 and 50 really do flip versus the level 40. As you see, I already have the Premier Cup right here, the Premier Cup meta. We'll run the Matrix, and here's what we get. So as you see, there is a few things, like immediately off the bat, we already have one matchup that we flip with a level 50 Bronzong. You beat Obama Snow, both variations with the level 51. The level 41 does not. I think it's because the Shadow one, you can like block everything, but still, you convincingly beat the regular Obama Snow versus the Shadow with a level 50. You all beat Blaziken. You still lose against Charizard and Ampharos. I think you lose against Ampharos because Ampharos is able to spam you with those Thunder Punches, so it still really sucks if you get something that like is very spammy like Ampharos. However, we'll look at that later. What if you... Heavy Slam's a good shot, but do you okay, here, I'm gonna do something just for science. So Heavy Slam is a moveset, but why not use Bulldoze? Because Bulldoze actually will let you... Because what happens is Bulldoze lets you cover Magnezone, if you're able to land it. So let's just assume level 50 for that moveset that I'm putting here. You can be versatile. As you see here, you do have different movesets. I'm just going to do Bulldoze for science, because it might actually be really interesting to look at Bulldoze. And then here, we'll do this. We'll delete this, and then I'll put this over here. So We'll put Bronzong at level 40 at the bottom just so that we can make a clear comparison. Here's a Psyshock Bulldoze. I just want to see, because ground has a lot of coverage in Pokemon. It has a ton of coverage if you use ground types against a lot of things. So because Bronzong does have Bulldoze, let's see what happens if we are able to use Bulldoze. So I put the simulation out. As you see here, we have the level 4 at the bottom. So with the Bulldoze and the Heavy Slime variation, you still win. So you'll still beat Obama Snow. Let's see if there's anything major. You'll beat Clefable because you resist Charmers. You beat the dragons, of course, because Dragon Breath. And Drifblim is dangerous. So Drifblim you want to avoid. Empoleon, Excavalier. Excavalier, I think it's because for Excavalier and Empoleon, it's because they resist your confusions. Generally, things that resist your confusion aren't a good idea because they also outpace you. And remember, I mentioned fighting does neutral damage. You're also weak to ground, so the Excavalier has Drill Run to cover you. You do beat, however, you beat Shadow Executor, you beat Gallade really convincingly. Like, that's a high, because this can still be close, as you see with the level 40. You pretty much convincingly beat Gallade with the level 50 variation. Beat Gengar, you beat Kingdra. You even beat Lapras. So level 40 can't beat Lapras, level 50 can. Because those surfs hurt. Because even though you resist Ice Shard, like surf is still, those surfs add up. Being able to beat Lapras is definitely a plus. You beat Machamp, you beat Shadow Champ, you lose against Magnezone just because Wild Charge sucks, as in, like, it sucks if you get hit with it. You lose against Amok because it's a Dark type. Just generally, Confusion users will lose against Dark types, so, as you see, because they resist Confusion. So, Amok, Obstagoon. You have Poliwrath, you beat Poliwrath because you're able to Confusion that to death. You lose against Scizor because it does resist Confusion, also has Night Slash. You beat Slowbro, that's a plus. You beat Slowbro, you lose against Snorlax, Swampert, of course, because it's able to outpace you with the Hydro Cannons, but you beat Tangrowth, Togekiss, Toxicroak, and Venusaur. So poison types, you have a heavy thing against. You pretty much wall Tangrowth because Rock Slide and Power Whip are resisted by the Steel typing. And you beat Togekiss. So as you see here, Bronzong looking really good, as long as you don't face a Dark type or a Steel type that do resist you, and for some reason Ampharos and Charizard are basically just what you're weak to in general, or what resist confusion. You're doing pretty dang good in this meta. Alright, as you see, Zong is very strong in the 2-shield. Be able to pick up normal Bomb Snow as well as Lapras. Now, this doesn't seem like a lot, but the fact that you have such higher ratings with the level 50 versus 40, it's very comfortable. We might see more revelations in the 1-shield. Let's see what happens. In the 2-shield, Rondon's strong, man. Zong going Zong. Zong is strong. So in the 2-shield, this is what gets interesting. So in the 2-shield... Alright, no, this is not the 2-shield. Here's the 1-shield. I'm sorry. My shield scenarios are all off. But in the 1-shield, as you see here, you take out Bama still. Now, this is very interesting. The level 51 can flip Ampharos? Why so? So if you have a level 51, you die because you get yeeted by the Focus Blast. What happens if you have a level 51? Is there a bulk point? Is there a break point? What do we got? Oh, wait, really? Focus Blast out, and then you get the Psyshock down. Wow, is it that close? Okay, so after you get Focus Blast, you live with 1 HP? Wow, so this is a very IV-dependent matchup. Yeah, that's a really IV dependent matchup. What if you have a Ampharos with 15 attack or something of that sort? Let's just assume. Well, let's just assume this for science. Zong still wins. What's the minimum point? 15, 14, 14. This is interesting. So the level 51 can actually beat Ampharos. However, let's see if it's. That's very interesting. So a level 50... We're not going to go too into it because I have to do a lot of things if I'm going to manipulate IVs. So this looks like to be that level 51 can actually... Level 50 cannot because you actually die to the Focus Blast. But there is a little bulk point there where if you have it, you can actually live with 1 HP in a Focus Blast. Which I'm assuming is only possible because Focus Blast does neutral damage. So as you see here, you have it out with Ampharos versus level 51, which is a pretty key matchup in my opinion. But this is the 1-shield. So in the one shield, you can beat Blaziken. You lose it with it if you have level 40, as you see here. You'll beat the Charmers, you beat the Dragon Breath users. You still lose against what you pretty much lose against in the 2s. And let's see, you beat Gengar in the 1-shield. You also beat, you beat Gengar, you beat Kingdra, you beat Lapras, you beat Machamp. You still lose against Magnezone, Alolan Muck, Obstagoon. Basically everything it's the same scenarios in the ones versus the twos versus the ones. So it's basically the same as you would in the two shield. The interesting thing is you're able to pick up the Scizor matchup if you have Bulldoze. I'm assuming Bulldoze is actually because with Heavy Slam and Psyshock, it does wall you. It technically walls you because Steel resists Steel and Psyshock is resisted by Steel, basically. So Bulldoze actually KOs in the end. So Bulldoze does give you coverage in the one shield versus something. So if you don't run Heavy Slam, it's interesting. You beat Slowbro with all variations. You lose against Snorlax and Swampert. So again, like I mentioned, basically it's like the two shield. The twos and the ones are very similar. Where in the one shield, you flip the Scizor matchup if you have Bulldoze. And you flip Ampharos if it's in the... Yeah, you flip Ampharos with a level 51. So it's very specific. In my opinion, I would rather beat Ampharos because Ampharos is a lot more popular, but so is Scizor. Scizor, you can see Scizor in many places. So the two shield is very similar to the one shield. Alright, now we have the zeros. So the 2 and the 1 shield are very interesting. As you see, level 51 does have very minimum. But being able to flip Ampharos in the 1s at a level 51 is pretty interesting. So we have the 2s, the 1s. Now we're going to run the closer. So in the closer, let's see if... The closer is going to get more interesting with the Bulldoze variant. Because we'll see if we can use Bulldoze or not. As you see in the closer, you beat Bama, you beat Bama, you beat Ampharos, but you lose against Blaziken because I'm guessing Blaze Kick or does it like blast you to death? I'm pretty sure it blasts you to death. It literally blasts you to death or just kick you to death. Okay, you get blasted to death. What if it has Burp? So what if it just Blaze Kicks? Out of curiosity, what if you just get hit with Blaze Kick? What happens? Okay, so Bronzong wins if you don't have... Okay, so that's kind of comforting. If their opposing Blaziken does not have Blast Burn, you actually win. If they have Burb, you win. So if they're running Blaze Kick Brave Bird, some people are, you'll win with Bronzong because you're able to hit Psyshock. So you win this if they don't have Blast Burn. Same thing with Charizard. If I'm assuming, so let's see if it's a Dragon Breath Charizard, what happens? Because we have Fire Spin here. What happens if you get Dragon Breath? If you get Dragon Breath, we hit the simulator. Charizard still wins. Okay, Charizard will still kill you because it's likely most Charizards are running Blast Burn, so you'll still lose against Charizard. You can flip Blaziken though if it doesn't have Blast Burn. You'll still beat Clefable, Dragonite, and Driplim. Clefable and Dragonite in the closer. You won't beat Driplim. You'll lose against basically the same things. In Empoleon, Excavalier, you will get Drill Run to death. You'll lose against Gengar in the closer because Shadow Ball will KO you. So Shadow Ball will still KO even if you have a level 50. The good thing is with level 50, it looks like you're still able to beat Lapras. So with level 50, you flip the Lapras matchup. So 50 and 40, clear distinction is that you beat Lapras, which is really good. You beat Exeggutor, you beat Gallade, so basically you beat other Confusion users. Now here's where it gets interesting. As you see, like the Bulldoze variant I was looking at, if you have Bulldoze, you actually beat Magnezone because you're able to Bulldoze it to death. As you see, Heavy Slam and Psyshock doesn't seem to have many benefits. It looks like you could still... Like, I think the only target you would really hit with Heavy Slam is probably Togekiss. And even then, you don't need, as you see here, you still beat Togekiss. It's a close matchup because Flamethrower sucks. But like, as you see here, if you don't have if you don't have Heavy Slime, you can still Psyshock it to death. You'll still win. That's really close. As you see here, that's still really close. Like, this is like a very close matchup against Togekiss. If you don't have Heavy Slam, but you know what? If you could still come out of it with a W. So that's with Bulldoze. With Bulldoze is a very interesting moveset because as you see here, you are able to take out Magnezone, which is actually not super popular, but it's still out there. You beat Poliwrath because it's a fighter. You still lose against anything that licks you to death. You lose against the dark type users. I think you only beat Snorlax in the one shield. Let's take a look again because I think in the ones, or if you only have shield advantage, that's the only. Okay, you don't. So you need to be in the 1 to 0s to beat Snorlax. Okay, so Snorlax beats you. That's a huge like weakness. Swampert as well. Swampert beats you really hard unless I think you have shield. Now you still beat Toxic Venusaur. So Bronzong is actually a very good... It's still very powerful. Like, you're able to flip a lot of relevant matchups. Now the 1 to 0s, this is where it gets interesting. So go 1 to 0s. In the 1 to 0s, you beat everything but, let's see. With the 1 to 0s, you lose against Charizard, you lose against Driplim. You can beat Empoleon. Okay, so this is really interesting. So if you block the Hydro Cat, you could actually Bulldoze Empoleon to death. Now you lose against Excavalier, you'll still lose because Drill Run. You beat Executor, Gallade, Gengar, Hydra. Let's see. Is there anything that one shield to zero flip? So level 40, as you see here, you're able to beat Magnezone. I'm thinking you can go straight, but being able to flip Magnezone with Bulldoze is pretty huge. As you see here, I think you straight Psyshock. Yeah, so you're able to straight Psyshock after it Wild Charges you. So if you hit the Wild Charge, if you hit Psyshock after a Wild Charge, you'll KO. With Bulldoze, you just OKO. Because Bulldoze, Steel and Electric are double weak to ground. As you see with variations, you're able to beat Alola Muck. Unfortunately, you still don't beat Obstagoon. Obstagoon's Night Slash is just so oppressive. You'll beat Scizor this time with all variations instead of just Bulldoze. And you can beat Snorlax. So you flip Snorlax, you will still lose against Swampert. So in the 1-0s, you still lose against Swampert. Keep in mind, Swampert is actually runs around a lot. So if you can take out their Swampert, you can bank that Bronzong can probably handle a lot of things in the back. As you see, it's very, very powerful still. And it's very versatile. I'm guessing in the 2 to Shields, you beat everything. In the 2 to Shields, you do. In the 2 to Shields, extra large Bronzor at level 50 can beat everything except... Level 51 doesn't beat Napoleon? Why? Yeah, why don't you beat Napoleon? What do you do? Like, what happens here? Why does level 51 not beat it? Ding, 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 you live with 1 HP. Oh, it's because you live with 1 HP, so there's like some kind of like... Okay, so in the 2 to 0s... Napoleon walls you because... Well, yeah, that's... But the level... Why does level 50 versus level 51? Okay, so it must be because there's like some bulk point or something like that. With level 51, yeah, there's some random bulk point. Just use Bulldoze. If you have level 50 with Bulldoze, you beat Napoleon because you Bulldoze it to death. Yes, you just Bulldoze it. You literally Bulldoze it to death. So 2 to 0 is still very interesting. Napoleon's your only problem. Other than that, you beat the entire meta except Obstagoon. Obstagoon is your biggest weakness as in Ultra Premier. It seems to be the biggest problem. The 2 to 1s, let's see what happens. 2 to 1s, let's see, you beat Obama, you beat Ampharos, you beat Blaziken, Charizard, Clefable, Dragonite, which is really good. You can beat Napoleon as long as you have Bulldoze. So I'm guessing you beat with Psyshock and then you Bulldoze them to death. And then, let's see, without Bulldoze, you lose against Empoleon. So Bulldoze is able to flip Empoleon and Magnezone. So Bulldoze has play. You're also able to beat Scizor. You still beat Polyack, you still beat Slower, and you still generally lose against what you lose against. So you're still going to lose against Alolan Muk, you're still going to lose against Obstagoon and Snorlax. You can beat Shadow, however, with level 50. And you beat Swampert. So as long as you have shield advantage, you can beat Swampert. As long as Swampert isn't, like, energy loaded. As long as Swampert isn't energy loaded and you have shield advantage, you can take out Swampert. But I think you only win the 2 to 1s or the, like, 1 to 0s. So let's take a look. I think, again, Earthquake is very dangerous. Even if you are level 50, you could still get one shot. So that's why it's that way. Yeah, you only win if you have shield advantage or if you're in the 2 to 0. So to beat Swampert, you need shield advantage. Or energy or like chip damage so you can confusion down. But as you see, Bronzong at level 50 is very powerful. Still takes out all the Charmers, all the grass/poison types, or just the grass types in general, because no grass type actually kills you. Unless it's Shiftery, yeah, I think Shiftery, which is really random, but it probably could take you out. But other than Shiftery, which isn't, like, super meta, but, like, level 50 Shiftery can give you a problem. But, like, other than that, like, Dark Grass Hybrids, you could beat out most other relevant grass types. You absolutely delete Toxicroak, you beat Dragon Breath users and Charmers. So, level 50 Bronzong looks like to be a beast in Ultra Premier. So if I had to give Zong a rating, I would actually give it a 9 out of 10. It's very powerful in the Ultra Premier meta. I don't know why it's not in the rankings yet, but I'm just guessing because of like Skarmory and Galarian Stunfisk just being so oppressive. Now the thing about Bronzong is that you run different. The thing about Zong is it has a lot of resistances. It covers a lot of important archetypes like Charmers. Charmers. It takes out fighters with the exception of Obstagoon because Obstagoon's a dark type. Charmers, Obstagoon. It can take out Dragon Breath users. It absolutely melts poison types, and it can wall Tangrowth. A big thing about, like, for example, like Gallade and Slowbro, if you go against Tangrowth, Tangrowth's power up hurts a lot, so you have to shield it. With Bronzong, you don't have to shield Tangrowth. So that's why Zong at level 50 is very powerful in the Ultra Premier. It's able to check its own cousins, and it has some very good play. Like I mentioned with Blaziken, you can actually flip Blaziken if they don't have Blast Burn. So the thing about Bronzong, and the reason why it doesn't have a 10 out of 10, or even like a 9.5, is because Swampert and Dark types. So Dark types effectively wall Bronzong. Unfortunately, because of their resistance to confusion, their strong weakness to confusion, strong resistance to psychic types, Dark types really give Bronzong a problem. As you see here, even in the 1-0s, we explored Shiftry before, remember? So if you run the 1-0s, guess what kills you? Shiftry. Shiftry is one of your strongest destroyers, as well as just all dark types. So Dark types will give you a hard time, as well as things that do hit. So yeah, it's just it's not a good time at all. If you go like even against other level 50s like G Stunfisk, Galarian Stunfisk is a pretty interesting thing because it's like level 50. As you see, Earthquake does hurt a lot. Now you could hit them with Bulldoze too, but as you see against G Fisk, you only lose in the 0-2. So it's very powerful. However, you must avoid other things that you basically have to avoid things that resist confusion. If they resist confusion, they will likely beat Bronzong unless it's a certain scenario. Unless you are up shields, or if you are in the 2-1s or the 2-0s. You can flip matchups that way. But Zong is unfortunately just keep it away. Keep it away from Confusioners, keep it away from Swampert, and it can have a good time and run over a lot of the Ultra Premier meta. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support and all the help you give me every single day with all these videos. And this was a very highly requested one. If you are thinking about Bronzong and you really like it, it's looking really good for the Ultra Premier. I definitely recommend you try and run it. Again, just keep it away from Dark types, keep it away from Swampert, anything that can nuke it with ground. You're good to go. You guys have a good one, and I will see you guys on the next video. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets, by the way.